Are there going to be any other expansions for the other games besides the Dwarf and Miner?
Yep. In fact, one of my favorite games is our game Four Taverns. It's very simple and it looks very sweet, but it's a dastardly game. It's a stab your neighbor in the back style game, and so about 3 to 5 rounds in, someone will bang the table or shout an expletive. It's the kind of games we love. A good relationship building game. That's a fun one. Just constantly stabbing each other in the back. That one's fun, and Mike's been working real hard on an expansion for that.
There's a couple of expansions. It's not so much an expansion as it would be we have 4 taverns, which you play in Tavern Owner in Lord of the Rings D&D world, and you hire your adventurers to go complete quests for you. We want to come out with 4 dark taverns, where you play the bad guys at their taverns, and then there'll be a rule set where the two games will battle.
Pretty cool.
If that helps. Thank you very much.
I overheard yesterday that you all play a lot of like tabletop role-playing games and stuff like that, like Pathfinder and Dungeons and Dragons. Have you all ever written any like D20 supplements or anything like that?
Have we done any?
Yeah, have you all written any so far, or are you planning on doing any?
Oh boy.
We are. Mike just recently came to me with this idea, this mechanic for a tabletop RPG that is just beautifully simple and so flexible. The guy's a genius when it comes to this stuff, and I'm so excited to move. I mean, a book this thin, and you can have the most fun ever, and you can just have anybody can write any story in any genre and use this and just have a blast.
So yeah, that's in the queue to work on, and that's obviously a bigger project than say, hey, let's go to the card game. But yeah, we would love to bring this add to the already considerably awesome mountain of RPG stuff out there at some point, probably within a couple of years.
And then there's like 20 other titles that we have ready to go. We just, you gotta be fiscally responsible and do it.
And you all had distributed your game through GameStop. Are you planning on doing it at like local game stores or anything like that?
Yeah, our games are available through any distributor, ACD, PSI, all these.
Southern Hobby.
Yeah, and I just was talking with GameStop, because they are now receptive to putting board games in with their video game, which to me is a huge leap for fans of games and parents that are frustrated with video games. Take your kid in there they actually told me a story of this grandmother that walked in with her son, and he wanted to get like some rated M Call of Duty thing, which I love video games, don't get me wrong. But the grandmother didn't have the money and didn't know what she was doing. And so she saw Dominion, a very nice board game, and the guy said, you know what, try it out. If he doesn't like it, you bring it back, just give it a shot. So she bought that, they came back 2 weeks later, and the kid was like, does this game have any expansions? Totally converted to board games. You say board games and people think Monopoly, and they think Chutes and Ladders, and the game of life, and it's just real rough. But underneath that is this subculture of just amazing board games that if you're not a gamer, I guarantee I can find a game that you would enjoy. Are we running out of time? Someone's doing signals over there, sorry. Okay, you're talking to themselves. Oh, they fall asleep. Go ahead, sorry, sweetheart.
Are you going to return to Ghost Hunters?
That's the question, isn't it? Am I going to go back to Ghost Hunters? Well, it's a terribly complicated scenario there. What happened was, about season 5, I felt like I had made enough of an impact and we had achieved my goals. And that, I was starting to feel the strain of being gone from my family so much. And, but I was locked into a contract. And then at season 8, I got a call from Pilgrim Films. They said, hey, Sci-Fi's looking to pick up season 9. And I said, awesome. I love doing the show, don't get me wrong, but I was tired and I missed my family. And I said, hang on, how many seasons do you think this show has left? And they're like, oh, a good 5 or more. And I said, I can't do it anymore. My health, I was starting to get heart issues, and I just I can't do this anymore. I can't get sleep, constantly eating out, the sleep schedule's a nightmare. You're gone every week. I don't know how they're still doing it. blows my mind. Well, they obviously augmented the show severely, so it wasn't so much a strain on Jay. Yeah, and they said, no problem, we understand. You can stop. And I was like, hallelujah. Like, I didn't know what to think. I thought I was stuck to the end. And please don't misinterpret what I'm saying. I had a good time and all that. No hard feelings. But when I stopped, they were like, you can stop, no problem, figure it out. So I stopped. And then when it came time to figure out, like, hey, if they keep selling DVDs, do I get any of that? That was all cut off. So it's really hard for me to kind of just go, yeah, sure, because skipping back to those. I mean, they're fine, whatever, but I don't agree with that business practice. And so it's very tough. But you haven't seen the last of me. I got a lot of things in the works. And maybe back on TV at some point. We don't know. You might too. We'll see. Yeah,
Something to drive that.
Mike actually was involved heavily in season 1.
There's 3 seconds of me in the bonus footage. 3 seconds.
The show would not, I can honestly say this, would not have existed if he wasn't there. He was driving the executive producer around, scouting locations, him and his wife, and
Found a body in the basement once.
yeah, so good stuff. Good stuff. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just to drive the point home about Grant, always talking about the show very much in a positive manner, even if he had dark circles under his eyes and didn't know what time it was. We've been working on projects together. We've been friends since we were 5. One year I saw him on New Year's Eve, and then I saw him on the 4th of July. That's how busy he was. And when he was home, I wasn't going to call him. I'm like, I think you have 18 hours to spend with your wife and children. And so that really was it. People have made up all these crazy reasons why and stuff. And it's just, he loves his wife, he loves his children, he wants time.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Go ahead.
All right, my wife and I are big fans of the show, and we play games with family too, so I think it's super cool that you do that.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that brings families together. Given that, surely it's a natural that you all have kicked around the idea of a game, a family game about paranormal investigation. Is that,
Yeah, I was waiting for that question.
Sure.
Of course.
I had to ask you.
It's definitely in the works. You gotta understand how Mike and I work. We see the world very differently. Well, maybe not from a lot of you guys, but when you say a game about paranormal investigation, whatever, that to me is like, okay, maybe we have an Eastern European town with vampires and ghosts and all that stuff, instead of just like, here I am walking around modern day. So we have a few ideas that we've definitely explored, and we are gonna definitely do that at some point.
Look forward to it.
Thank you. Yep.
Did you guys ever find anything? And if not, do you guys plan to make comment on reinvestigating that area?
We did find some stuff. It was actually pretty quiet while we were there. What you saw in the episode is what happened. Yeah. I would love to go check that out again. I know Mike would love to. And he's just... You live there too? Okay. We'll call you up. Yeah, Mike is a very, very talented debunker. Just very skilled. The best I've ever seen. And he just wasn't able to be on the show. He wasn't able to have the schedule. Yeah, of course. People always ask me all the time, would you want to check this place out? Of course. We can go wherever. Yeah, well, you have to. You can't go to a place one night and get a good assessment. But like the Stanley Hotel, we don't do it one night. Stanley Hotel, we were there for 9 nights investigating. A lot of these are 2 or 3 nights, but they have us wear similar clothing because it's easier for them to edit it together. And they tell it accurately. They don't do anything weird. But it just takes so much time to show us going home, changing, coming back. You just edit that out, make it look like one night. It just makes it easier for them to fit everything in 43 minutes.
And it's funny because Grant had, during the filming, Grant had his closet looked like a superhero closet. It's like green t-shirts, red t-shirts, gray t-shirts.
It's so cute. Mike's like, let me guess, he called me up. Let me guess, you're wearing a red shirt. No. But yeah, it's funny. In fact, there was one episode, when we were in Newport, Rhode Island at the Astor's Mansion, right? You watched the reveal on that one closely. We did the reveal, and they asked an awesome question, but the angle they needed, the tape, something happened to it. So it just didn't work right. So we went back the next day just to ask the question. I don't mind doing that, like we wouldn't recreate anything in the investigation, but we went and did the question again, but I'd gotten a haircut. So I had, you watch the reveal, and I have this long, hair kind of like this, and then I asked this one question, and I've got short hair, and then it goes back to long hair again. Or you watch Steve, and he gets his 5 o'clock shadow gets longer and shorter.
6, 7, 8, back.
Yeah, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, yeah. Exactly. All right, buddy, it's all you. Rock the mic.
Do you and Jason still do that plumbing business?
No, I don't do. What the history of that is that obviously when you do the paranormal, it's a hobby. It doesn't make you any money. It costs a lot of money, and so you have to do something that puts a roof over your head. So our job was plumbing, and then they started doing this show, and we thought we were going to do 10 episodes and be done. So we had to keep our job. So we were working like 100 hours a week. I was working full-time plumbing, and then I would do the filming at night, and that about killed us. So my boss at Roto-Rooter called me in and had my badge from when I was hired, my picture. I was all happy, yay, I have a job. And he showed me that and showed me myself in the mirror. And he's like, "You're gonna die. Something's gotta break here." And so he said, "I'll tell you what. You guys are so passionate about this. I believe in what you're doing. Take the time you need to do the show," which is phenomenal. And they would still cover our health insurance and stuff like that. Fantastic. So we started doing that, and we would still plumb whenever we could, and we started doing commercial work where we didn't have to go into someone's home and talk to them for 3 hours because they recognized us. So we'd keep doing the plumbing, and eventually it just got to the point where, when I stopped the show, it's just like I just stopped the show and said I'm taking a year and just kind of getting back to who I was and getting on a sleep schedule. So I do plumbing still for friends and family, of course, and my wife, but
I've been buying a house this fall, so.
Tell me checking out his plumbing. But yeah, I don't do it. Roto-Rooter was a great company for allowing this whole thing to happen. Yes?
Like, when you watched the show or when you were putting it together, is there any times where, like, you would see something that you didn't see?
A lot of times, the beautiful thing about having a camera crew with you is that they're all that much more equipment. So they would catch things on their equipment that they would bring to us. So that's about the closest thing we would get. I mean, obviously when I would watch the show, I would be educated on what the other teams are doing because I don't know what they're doing while I'm filming. Only one can tell me. So yeah, you get surprised. And as far as evidence goes, no, we've never seen anything new, once we watch the show, but you do learn some new things.
I think I'm reading the signs. I'm pretty sure we're wrapping it
What's
up.
that? Wrap it up. Okay. Can I just say really quick, thank you guys for the support over all the years. Thank you for your continued support. Obviously, I'm not on the show anymore, and I can't thank you enough. That means the world to me. Everyone who's come up has said the most beautiful things to me and been very kind, and I truly appreciate it. I'm not just saying it. I truly appreciate it. Hopefully, you can feel it. And I promise you haven't seen the last of me. And I've got a lot going on, and I really hope that you guys stick with me and follow me through onto the other adventures. So thank you for coming, thank you for the support, thank you for making the paranormal field something that can be talked about again because you guys watched the show. That means so much to me. So thank you, and thank you for supporting Mike and his efforts.